What is going on, everyone, and welcome to r/EntitledParents. Now, a lot of you watching probably have a Steam account, but what would you do if out of nowhere your dad suddenly told you to delete it? Well, this is what happened to OP in today's first story. Let's see what he did. My freaking dad is making me delete my Steam account. I started school recently, and I was having an anxiety attack trying to navigate the site they provided. I was so confused about what to click on to start and where to go, I didn't even know how to contact my teachers, let alone the guy that runs it and ask for help. And because I couldn't figure out how to access my assignments to do them, I got behind. And what did my brilliant, genius father think was the issue? It's those goddamn video games. You've gotten too addicted to them, so now all you play is those instead of doing your schoolwork. That's why tonight you're deleting that Steam account, the games, and anything else video game related. Then, once you start applying yourself to your schoolwork and get ahead, you can consider having video games. He called my responses complete BS, and when I said it's not the video games, it's this stupid site, I can't figure it out, he just shrugs it off with, I don't give a dang. He's even making me delete Discord, which is the only way I can talk to my friends at school. Use your phone. They have addresses, they have numbers, figure it out. That's if I actually had a phone that could freaking work. The only phone I have that can take calls can't even do it properly. And if Discord's the only way I can talk to them and you're making me delete it, how will I get their freaking addresses? He's making me delete about $180 worth of games, including Steam games and my Steam accounts, which means I can't just reinstall them. Bye bye TF2, Shovel Knight, Jump King, Carry On, BI3, Minecraft, Untitled Goose Game, Castle Crashers, etc. But OP, just say you uninstalled it, then reinstall it behind his back. Nope. He will be standing over me to make sure I actually delete it. He actually made me cry when I heard that he wanted my only way of communicating with my friends gone. My mum tried to intervene, but she was completely shut out by his opinions. She tried reasoning, but she didn't win. Now that you have no more distractions, you'll actually focus and get your work done. I'm currently writing this in tears, waiting for the inevitable. Now let's move straight on to an update that OP posted just a few days ago. My dad's still making me delete my Steam account. I thought I'd start this off with good news. He hasn't made me delete it yet. The bad news, he still remembers that it has to be done. So, just tonight, this level of BS went down. So it was around the time when I was just in the middle of cooking a simple meal for me and my brother. For those interested, it was pierogies. I was finishing up the last few in the pan when he came back from the freezer with a frozen pizza, and this is where the effery set in. You're still deleting that Steam account. Don't think for a second I've forgotten, because I haven't. Well, I'm not. I'm sorry, but I'm just not. I've said this before, but the video games aren't the issue here. I just don't know how to access the sites. It doesn't matter. You're going to get rid of all distractions off that computer. I tried to interject. OP, you're going to delete that account. I want to be there when you do it, and maybe when you start getting good grades and earn the right to create a new one, you won't try throwing away schoolwork. Again, video games aren't the problem here. Stop. But I just keep going. I stop for a moment though when he huffs and lets out a scowl. Look, the school site is the issue. I don't give a dang. There's an issue and I'm planting it on video games. So I say in a much louder voice, video games aren't the problem. I don't give a dang. You've been throwing away schoolwork and now you're suffering the consequences. This is what happened. Again, video games aren't the issue here. Okay, either you delete your account or I'm taking apart that computer and selling it. Fine, take it. I could work from a trashy laptop for all I care, but I'm not deleting my accounts. I'll sell everything, even the trashy laptop. Fine, but I'm still not deleting my account. My dad huffs and goes back to preparing his dinner. At this point, I had finished cooking and plated the meals, and took it to the TV area where my brother was waiting. I gave him his plate and a fork, and we started eating while watching a show. Eventually, I heard noises from the kitchen, so I went up to go and see, disguising my curiosity as going to get a drink. I sighed silently when I saw he was just looking in a cupboard for something. Relieved, I got my drink and sat back down. We were almost done with the episode when I heard more noises. My glass was empty, so I used that as another excuse to see what was happening, and my heart sunk as I saw him messing with my PC. He wasn't trying to log on, he was disconnecting stuff, unplugging the HDMI cables, the power cable, keyboard cables from my CPU and monitor. This is where I decided to speak up. "What you doing?" My dad was fumbling with the cord to my expensive keyboard. "Disconnecting your PC." "Okay." My dad then said in a very raised voice that sounded full of anger, "You're 16 years old. You don't get to say you don't do things. My house, my rules. You think you're able to act like that? Then your freaking computer is gone." After disconnecting everything, he finally claims his prize, my mouse. "You're getting distracted by these stupid freaking games and throwing away schoolwork. You're not a straight A student. You're not ahead. You're behind. And all because of these stupid freaking video games. I don't care when it happens, but your Steam account is gone. Understand? Gone. Then, when you actually pay attention to schoolwork, instead of throwing it away, maybe, just maybe, I'll let you create a new one." After wrapping up my mouse, he takes his plate and trudges upstairs, taking my mouse with him. I follow in pursuit, trying so hard to defend myself. "I'm not putting off schoolwork. I can't figure out how to navigate the sites, and because of that, I can't do the work, and that's why I'm behind." "Then how come you're the only one with this problem? How come?" "I'm not the only one. Tons of other kids are just as confused as I am, and that's why they hold Zoom meetings to help kids figure out what to do." "Oh, that's bull. That is bull and you know it." "It's not." At this point, he had gone all the way upstairs, leaving me shocked beyond belief. So I defeatedly sat down and finished the show. A few minutes later, my mum came down asking what happened. I broke into tears and told her. My mum was taking my side on this, and here's what she said. "Did he delete anything yet?" I'm still crying slightly at this point. No, not yet." "Okay, that's good. You bought yourself time, so I can try talking him out of this, but we've really got to get your work done. For now, I'll set you up on another computer to work from. It'll be best to stay away from it for a while until this all gets sorted." Then we get into how I can get better help, ask more questions, email the person in charge of the site and ask him for help, since he works as a teacher at my school, etc. We also discussed how we could potentially control my video games so he wouldn't see it as an issue anymore. But the bottom line is, I'll be working from a different computer for the time being. I'm typing this in my bed, shaking from what happened. I'm scared, I'm angry, I'm sad, and I don't know what's going to happen. I'm afraid of losing all my games, my friends, and essentially something that I've had for over 5 years. I just hope that things turn out in my favor. Oh yeah, does not sound like a very good spot to be in, OP, but I actually think the solution to this one is pretty simple, right? Surely just get your dad to sit with you when you email the person who can help you, or Zoom call, in your calls that you said you had to people that can't access the site, because at least that way he knows that you're not lying. It proves to him that, you are actually trying to sort out the problem and that there is a problem in the first place. So yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't just say to him, "Okay, if you think I'm lying, come and sit with me and help me out, and we'll email the people that we need to email and be in the Zoom calls that we need to be in, and we can try and fix this." Now, if that doesn't happen and he actually makes you delete your Steam account, I guess just make another one secretly and kind of like transfer games over or make demos or something. I don't really know if you can do that on Steam, to be honest, but yeah, that would not be good if he does delete your Steam account, that is for sure. Actually, can't you just undo the deletion on your Steam account via your phone? I think you can for like 30 days. I could be wrong on that one. Let me know down below, guys. Now for our next story. Entitled parent thinks I owe her child my stuffed animal. A lot of people in my family have been telling me to give away some of my stuff to my newborn cousins recently, and it sparked a memory in my head about an entitled parent I had the unfortunate circumstance of meeting a couple of years ago. Here's the setting of this story. I was a wee little 8-year-old who obsessed over stuff like stuffed animals, and especially Beanie Boos. Back then, I had a giant imagination and constantly played with these guys. They were one of my only forms of entertainment too, since our family didn't have a console back then. Even though it's normal for a child to love stuffed animals, I was so attached that every time I left home for school, I made sure to get them up and out of bed and give them food. I was a kid, I thought they were alive. When my mum would do laundry on the weekends, I would ask my mum to give them a machine bath so they could be cleaned. One day, my mum decided that we should all go to the library to get some books so we could read over the summer. I was ecstatic because the library was one of my favourite places in the world. I always felt like it was a magical wonderland of sorts because of all the toys and games they had laying around everywhere. This day, I was so hyped that I'd gotten out one of my favourite stuffed animals and tucked him in my pocket to take with me. I was planning to play with him there along with the other toys they had in stock. When we had finally arrived, I headed down with my mum to the children's section of the library. She started looking for books that me and my brother could read, while I headed over to the mountain of toys. My mum trusted me enough at that point, and she had left me alone to play. At the time, I hadn't cared and was just enjoying myself. Apart from myself, there was only one other girl there, who looked slightly younger than me, and her mum was there reading a magazine, or a book, I don't remember, on a bench near us. When I took out the stuffed animal from my pocket, all of the commotion started. So, I pulled out my stuffed dog, his name is Buster, just to clarify, and the entitled kid automatically spots him. She rushes over and snatches him out of my hands. I am shocked. "Hey, give that back, it's mine." "No, it's not, it's the library's," she smirks at me. "What? No, Buster's mine, give him back, I brought him from home." At this point, her entitled mum notices the argument, but she doesn't do anything about it. I am still fuming, and the entitled kid refuses to give me the stuffed dog back. As an 8-year-old, I never wanted to use violence as I was a pretty weak person, but I was so outraged that with all of my might, I tried to punch the entitled kid in the face. I missed, but I grabbed my stuffed dog and ran off to find my mum. Note that I didn't even get to punch her, and I hadn't even gotten rough with her. She had been the one who took Buster out of my hands and started the whole situation. After running for a bit, I found my mum and told her everything, while halfway to tears. She was mad, but let it be, and decided to head back home. But oh no, it wasn't going to end that easily. We were just about to leave when lo and behold, the entitled mum shows up. The entitled mum taps my mum's shoulder. "Excuse me." How can I help you?" my mum replied. "Your son hit my daughter and stole her stuffed animal." "What? Oh, you're the person my son told me about." "Yes, now hand the dog over and apologise or I will call the police." "No, your daughter stole my son's stuffed animal and refused to give it back. If anyone should apologise, it should be your daughter." "How dare you insult my kid like that?" She then grabs my arm. "Give the dog back right now, you stupid kid." I cannot handle this and break down. I'm crying and holding on to my stuffed animal as tight as I can. My mum takes the entitled mum's hand off me very forcefully and calms me down. At this point, everyone has seen what is going on and all of them are telling the entitled mum to go away. My mum is fuming. "I swear to God, if you ever lay a hand on OP ever again, you'll be down on the ground before you can think." The entitled mum is stunned, and we walk away without another word. I'm always glad this story had the nice ending it did, but sometimes I worry about what would have happened if I wasn't able to get back my stuffed animal from the kid. The thought scares me, though now that I'm older, I'll happily give some of my toys away to a child who deserves it. One of the most interesting things about this subreddit, in my opinion, is that you go on it, you read some of the stories, or you watch some videos on YouTube, and you think to yourself, oh my god, that exact same thing happened to me back when I was a kid, 8 years old like OP was here. So what I want to ask you guys is if you have any old entitled parent stories that you only just thought about, that happened to you back in the day, but you only just thought about because of hearing a news story on this subreddit. I mean, it'd be quite interesting, right? For me, it's certainly happened a couple of times. I've thought, oh my god, this same thing happened to me back when I was like 6 or something. But yeah, comment down below if this has ever happened to you. Now moving on to our final story of today's video, entitled family messing around trying to order food. My parents own an Asian restaurant. My dad works his butt off to ensure our survival. I love and respect his iron will and his undying determination, and my mum works just as hard. Of course, I help where I can to ease their workload. Our restaurant opens every day from 11:30 AM to 11 PM. One day, we get a reservation for 3 people at 10 PM. A family, it seems. Well, it would have been perfectly fine if they hadn't been late by 30 minutes. My mum was fuming already. My dad, on the other hand, kept his cool. They did not speak Chinese or any other language my parents could understand but English, so it was my turn to help out. They were okay to speak to at first, but it took way too long to order a meal for 3. They questioned everything, from the way it's cooked to the ingredients, and if you know the Chinese kitchen, most dishes are cooked with a delicious sauce. Dry dishes are not the type of food my father would cook. You need to know that in China, the way things are done in the kitchen varies from region to region. Some regions have their regional specialities dry and spicy, and others mild and moist, and still it varies depending on how the cook likes it cooked. They wanted dishes without sauce, or without a type of vegetable. The description they gave for the food they wanted sounded way too Western for a traditional Asian cook like my dad. They even went as far as trying the dishes first to test if it's to their liking. My mum got more and more angry. Then my mum started talking loudly in Chinese, telling me to tell them to get out. My dad and I tried to calm her, but she went on and on about how stupid they were and how stupid I am for trying to negotiate. Then they decided to get up and leave, but not without nasty passive-aggressive comments, like, "It says you were open till 11 PM, so you need to serve until 11 PM, or "It's a pity, you know there are online reviews, right?" Oof. On the ride home, we discussed their behaviour, and my mum pointed out that it was only the wife who complained, on behalf of her husband. He wouldn't like the food this way. The son was quite silent, but was more like his mother than his father. It's a big yikes from me. Yeah, not gonna lie, OP, I do completely agree with your mum on this one. I mean, fair enough, give them a chance. They can be a little bit weird and just, take a while to order and ask about foods and stuff like that at first, but then if they keep doing it and they're wasting everyone's time and they're not ordering, even when it's just 3 people, and it's getting close to the cut-off point of when you want to close a restaurant, nah, just get them out, go home, go to sleep. It's such a shame, right, because your family put in so many hours of work every single day. I mean, what are those opening times? What were they? 11:30 AM to 11 PM. That's a massive shift. I can imagine what that's like 16-hour days probably with all the stuff you've got to do after and before that. Oh, and then you have someone like that come in at the end of the day just to ruin it. Oh, must be horrible. After a 12-hour shift, it must be horrible. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of Entitled Parents. If you want more immediately, then check out the playlist on screen right now to watch all my Entitled Parents content. And if you are new around here, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, because why not? It's completely free and you get to see my videos each and every day. So do it.